who worked on the project succeeded brilliantly. They went to infinite trouble to ensure that the characters were transferred to the screen exactly as they were drawn by Beatrix, and that their movements were just right. Animating the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends was an enormous operation, the most ambitious animation project ever mounted in England. It has taken nearly 2 years and $11 million to bring 9 of the little books onto the screen in this series of 6 30-minute films.
When I was asked by Warnes, I was rung up and they said, would you like to work on the Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit series? I said, yes, please. I mean, after all, a program like that, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I mean, we don't often get the chance to work on such a classic.
I've always admired Beatrix Potter very much. Her character drawings, I think, are just sensational.
I feel quite good about it now because we're actually into the swing of it. But initially we all felt rather like Beatrix Potter did in 1935 when she was asked if she would like to animate. Because then she said she didn't really think it would work. Too many drawings, nobody could get the feel of her watercolours on the screen. And that's always been our anxiety, that it's got to look like Potter.
Colorless liquid is applied to a cell to give it a workable surface. Then with pencils and pencil crayons, the outlines and texture of the picture are gently softened in appearance. It's painstaking work, as can be seen when it's finished and ready to be put over the picture. After a background artist has painted a scene in watercolor, a tracing is placed over it to make it look exactly like a Beatrix Potter painting. Then over that, in go the characters, and the whole picture is ready to be filmed.
The joy of bringing these to life is just amazing. It's very catching. All the directors have been absolutely fired by this joy of bringing to life these characters whom we've all been brought up on. We've all seen on the page. I mean, it's just so exciting.
Well, enough said. In the animation business, a word is worth 1,000 pictures. So let's stop talking and take a peek at excerpts from the first 3 tapes. We begin with the one that started it all, a story about a naughty little bunny. This is the tale of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny.
Now, my dears, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there.
He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor.
He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now run along and don't get into mischief.
But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate.
Mr. McGregor!
Stop, thief! Come back here, you wee pest! Gotcha!
Every time I watch these tapes, I discover something new. There's so much detail to discern from its rich and elaborate animation. Just like her books, I find the characters to be so warm and believable. And the original musical score, well, it's nothing less than exquisite. These tapes are destined to be a collector's treasure. With this being the centennial year celebration of Peter Rabbit, I know Beatrix Potter would be very pleased to see that her little bunnies are looking very well indeed. Okay, then, let's take a look at our second video. A story about a kitten who wanders away from his mother. This is the tale of Samuel Whiskers.
Oh, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
She caught Moppet and Mittens, but she could not find Tom.
What do you mean by tumbling into my bed?
Oh, gracious. I've lost my dear son, Thomas. Oh, and I'm afraid the rats have got him.
I think I'll just restrain him a little.
Make me a kitten, dumpling, roly-poly, pudding for my dinner.
Tabitha, listen. Shh. Do hurry, Mr. Joyner.
Oh, Mother! My poor kitten.
I think it's marvelous how Beatrix Potter's tales reinforce the safety of family. Nowadays, it's so important that our young ones understand that it can be very dangerous to wander away on their own. What better way to illustrate the point than using kittens as an example? Children love animals, and Beatrix Potter masterfully uses them for enlightenment and entertainment. What a great way to drive a point home. Even so, it seems like some people never learn their lesson. Which brings us to our third tape. It's the story of a rather simple duck. The tale of Tom Kitten and Jemima Puddle-Duck.
Ah, now that little clearing might be just the place.
Madam, have you lost your way?
The most civil of you to inquire. No, it concerns the nest.
The nest. I have a sack full of feathers in my woodshed.
Jemima Puddle-Duck came every afternoon. She laid 9 eggs in the nest. The foxy gentleman admired them immensely.
Let us have a dinner party all to ourselves.
Oh, what a truly splendid idea.
May I ask you to bring up some herbs from the farm garden?
Jemima Puddle-Duck was a simpleton. She quite unsuspectingly went round nibbling snippets off all the different sorts of herbs that are used for stuffing roast duck.
It's time to find out how you can get your own World of Peter Rabbit and Friends video series. But before we take a break, I want to remind you of 4 very important things that we've talked about so far. You might find them useful with helping to decide if these tapes are right for you and your family. 1, The World of Peter Rabbit and Friends is the only authorized animated reproduction of Beatrix Potter's classic children's books. 2, these timeless stories are feature film quality animation. Over $11 million has been spent to create them. They are not cartoons. 3, because this is the first time Beatrix Potter's stories have been animated, and it's Peter Rabbit's 100th birthday, these tapes are bound to be an instant collector's item. Finally, and most importantly, 4, these tapes help restore the family values that seem to be so lacking in today's movies and television shows. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a bit with more adventures from the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends.
This is the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends, 9 of Beatrix Potter's classic children's tales animated for the first time ever in this 6-part videotape collector's edition series. When you call now, your first tape, The Tale of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny, will be sent to you for only $9.95. Try it, and if you're not completely satisfied, for any reason whatsoever, simply return it for a full 30-day money-back guarantee. The rest of Beatrix Potter's videos will be sent to you or anyone you choose monthly for only $24.95. And there's more. Each video also comes with an original Beatrix Potter hardbound book and read-along audio cassette. Now your children can watch the videos, read the books, and listen to the audio tapes of these literary classics. And finally, as an added bonus, your purchase automatically enrolls you into the Still Meadow Children's Choice Video Club. After acquiring the Beatrix Potter videos, members will receive additional quality children's videotapes every 4 to 8 weeks. This is a no-risk way to choose the videos you and your family like best. Again, you keep only the tapes you want. There is a full 30-day money-back guarantee.
The coalition endorsed the Beatrix Potter tapes because they're very, very well produced. They have excellent production values. They're beautifully produced. They're true to the original story. And they're outstanding examples of classic literature that's been produced in video form.
To order your World of Peter Rabbit and Friends, call toll-free 1-800-345-4700. Your first tape, The Tale of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny, will be sent to you for only $9.95. Remember, each World of Peter Rabbit and Friends video also comes with an original Beatrix Potter book and read-along audio cassette. So call 1-800-345-4700. That's 1-800-345-4700. Operators are standing by. This is a free call.
Welcome back. I think by now you know that if I could only have one children's video series on my shelf, it would have to be The World of Peter Rabbit and Friends. Well, believe me, I'm not the only one who thinks so. Listen to what parents, grandparents, and some darling children are saying.
They weren't just for children. I mean, they have kind of a universal appeal. And reading them again and now watching them as an adult, I think these are wonderful stories. They're timeless. It's really literature. And passing along good literature to my children, that's the greatest thing in the world.
I like the animals in Beatrix Potter because they can talk and they have clothes on, and it's not really usual that they have clothes on in stories.
Well, as a grandfather, I really wondered about this, to see how my granddaughter, Meg, she's 2, would react. And she flipped over these tapes. She just loved them. She said, again, Pop-Pop, again, Pop-Pop.
It's so much more charming and so much more part of a world that I want my daughter to be aware of, and video culture that I think is all around her.
Sometimes you can just think in your mind, if those characters were real, you could just go up to the door and say, I want to play with you today.
They are very family-orientated, learning how to deal with strangers, how to really hear what they're saying, not to be so willing to follow along with somebody you don't know. Remember what Mom and Daddy told you back home before you ventured out.
The thing that I learned was not to be naughty and not to get in mischief, because if I do, my mom will get mad at me, and I don't want that to happen.
On one hand, it kind of sounds goofy, it sounds old-fashioned, but I think when you're raising your kids, call me wacky, but you want to be old-fashioned.
Yeah, you do. You want that sense. That's the type of value that you want to instill in them, that you hope that they walk away with from having viewed something like this.
Mm-hmm. I like the Indian part about the fox and the duck. That's the part I like.
When I watch The World of Peter Rabbit and Friends, one word always comes to mind: trust. I trust these tapes. These days, it's pretty hard to find a trustworthy children's video. I mean, how can anyone be expected to pick the right tape from hundreds of children's titles in a video store? The old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, really applies here. That's why I like the fact that these videos are sold direct on TV. What you see is what you get. I'm more comfortable having seen the product before I buy it. I think that's important, especially when it comes to children. Okay, it's time to move on to our next tape. This time, you're going to meet some very special mice who helped save the day in the story of the Tailor of Gloucester.
The Mayor of Gloucester is to be married on Christmas Day in the morning, and he hath ordered a coat and an embroidered waistcoat. Oh, I'm so weary. 120 buttonholes.
120 buttonholes.
Of cherry-colored twist to be finished by noon.
Oh, finished by noon.
No more twist.
No more twist.
Oh.
And what should he do?
What
is to become of the cherry-colored coat?
Oh,
yes. Yes.
Wait for me.
A pipkin and a popkin, a slipkin and a slopkin, all for one farthing. 3 little mice sat down to spin.
I'm thinking, let me open the door. Oh, joy, a miracle.
Perhaps Perhaps one of the most important things to remember when buying a children's video is its watchability, or in other words, how many times will a child watch it before they are bored. Beatrix Potter's videos have real staying power ×6. Long after certain children's videos are extinct, the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends will still be hopping around. Now let's jump to our next story, which is about a little piggy who went to market. This is the tale of Piggling Bland.
Now, Piggling Bland, you must go to market.
I can go no further tonight, I fear. But I must find somewhere to rest for the night.
Here's some author. Turn out your pockets now.
I am but a poor little pig.
Oh, well, you'll stay for supper.
My name is Pigwig. Make me some more porridge, please.
How did you come here?
Stolen. What for? Bacon, ham.
Why don't you run away?
I shall. Off to supper.
Now it says here... You two, come back!
Success, we outwitted them all!
Tom, Tom, the piper's son, stole a pig and away he ran.
I have heard and read Beatrix Potter's stories 100 times, and yet her new films still mesmerize me. It's wonderful when an adult and a child can share something that affects them both in the same way. And that's what's so enchanting about these tapes. An unspoken bond that young and old can share together. It's really quite magical when it happens. But then, that's what fairy tales are all about, isn't it? And so we come to our last tape. A magical tale about a young girl who loses her pocket handkin and finds a new and very unusual friend in the tale of Mrs. Tiggywinkle and Mr. Jeremy Fisher.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Lucy. She was a good little girl, only she was always losing her handkerchiefs.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, bless my soul.
Have you seen my pocket handkins? Or even a pinafore?
Afraid not, young lady.
Oh, well.
Sorry, I can't be of more help.
I wonder who lives here. Forgive me.
Oh, who's that?
I'm Lucy. I didn't mean to startle you. But who are you? And have you seen my pocket handkin?
Oh, yes, if you please.
Then Mrs. Tiggywinkle and Lucy sat down to take some tea. All through Mrs. Tiggywinkle's gown and cap, there were hairpins sticking wrong end out, so that Lucy didn't like to sit too near her.
Please remember me kindly to Miss Potter.
I didn't know better, Mrs. Tiggywinkle. I should think that you were nothing but a hedgehog.
What an absolutely wonderful children's video series. There never has been or ever will be anything else like them. These tapes are trustworthy. They can be watched over and over again and are meant to be shared by both young and old together. What more could you ask for? Please take this moment to find out how you can get your own World of Peter Rabbit and Friends, and I'll be back with a final thought.
This is the world of Peter Rabbit and Friends, 9 of Beatrix Potter's classic children's tales animated for the first time ever in this 6-part videotape collector's edition series. When you call now, your first tape, The Tale of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny, will be sent to you for only $9.95. Try it, and if you're not completely satisfied, for any reason whatsoever, simply return it for a full 30-day money-back guarantee. The rest of Beatrix Potter's videos will be sent to you or anyone you choose monthly for only $24.95. And there's more. Each video also comes with an original Beatrix Potter hardbound book and read-along audio cassette. Now your children can watch the videos, read the books, and listen to the audio tapes of these literary classics. And finally, as an added bonus, your purchase automatically enrolls you into the Still Meadow Children's Choice Video Club. After acquiring the Beatrix Potter videos, members will receive additional quality children's videotapes every 4 to 8 weeks. This is a no-risk way to choose the videos you and your family like best. Again, You keep only the tapes you want. There is a full 30-day money-back guarantee.
$9.95 for a Beatrix Potter tape is great. That's a great deal. Absolutely, because you are getting so much. You're getting Beatrix Potter come to life.
This would be a beautiful contribution to grandchildren, or to any little child, to be able to bring back that loveliness.
Not only do the kids enjoy it, have fun, but the parents do too.
The $9.95 value for that first tape is wonderful because it gives you a chance to look at it. You get a chance to see and feel very comfortable with it, and then you know that everything you're getting is of the, that very, very good quality.